Hey everyone, welcome back, and let's write some more Leetcode today. So today let's solve the problem kth largest element in a stream. And it's marked as an easy question, but I definitely feel that it's more of a medium, and maybe that's why many people disliked it. But we are told to design a class to find the kth largest element in a stream of numbers. So stream basically means that we could continue to add numbers to the list of numbers. After we do that, we still have to find the kth largest element now that we've added more numbers to it. And they say that the kth largest element is the kth largest in the sorted order, not distinct. And what they mean by that is basically that if we had, this list of numbers and k equals 3, meaning we want the third largest number. If we look at the distinct values, we'd say, okay, 3 is the largest, 2 is the second largest, and 1 is the third largest. But they say we want to return the kth largest in sorted order, meaning this is the first largest, this is the second largest, and this is the third largest. So we return 2. We're not just looking at distinct elements. If we have multiple copies, we include those as well. The good thing is we only need to implement two functions. One is the constructor, where we'll be given the parameter k that we can store and an initial list of numbers. And this list of numbers, it could be at least k elements, or it could be less than k elements, or it could be more than k elements. So that's something we're going to have to take care of when we do write out the code. But the second function is the add function, where we can actually add a number to the stream of data. And this function is also going to return the new kth largest element every time we call it. So they do tell us that whenever we call this function, we are guaranteed to have at least k elements in the stream of data. So that's good. Even though we might not have k elements when we initialize it, we will have k elements when we call the add function. So now the question is, how can we efficiently solve this problem? Well, suppose we were given this input right in our constructor, this array, and k equals 3. Of course, the intuitive approach is to sort the input so that we can, look through and find the kth largest element a little bit faster. Right, in the original array, we could just scan through the entire input, and that'd be O of n to find the kth largest. But when the array is sorted, though, we can of course use binary search, which will run in log n time. But the problem is, if we want to insert a new value, for example, we want to run add on the value 3. Well, yeah, we can run binary search to add the number as well. We can find where to insert it. But when you insert in the middle of an array, it's a linear time operation, big O of n. So the question is there a better approach? Is there a different data structure we can use? And yes, there actually is. And the data structure that's going to help us the most in this case is a min heap, and we are going to require it to be of size k. And let me tell you why. Well, first of all, a heap is a data structure, if you haven't heard of it, that has a somewhat sorted property. We can add and pop elements from the min heap in log n time. We can also get the minimum value of the min heap in big O of 1 time. Obviously, this is a little bit better than an array, especially an unsorted array like we are given in the input. But the question is, why are we going to require it to be of size k, and why are we using a min heap rather than a max heap? Well, one thing we are going to use to our advantage is that we're only going to be adding elements to our stream of data. We're never really going to be removing anything. So in this example, we're given 4 numbers, but we only need a min heap of size k because we only need the k largest values from the array. In this case, it's 4, 5, and 3. Why is that? Why do we never need the 2? Because we want the third largest value. This is the largest, this is the second largest, this is the third largest. So we have 3 numbers that are bigger than 2. Is 2 ever going to be the third largest value in our stream of data? It's never going to be, because we're never going to remove any of these elements, right? We might add elements. We might add a value like 6. If we add this 6 value, then we don't want to include this 4 anymore. Then we only want to keep track of these 3 numbers, 6, 5, and 8. And now this is going to be the third largest number. 5 is going to be the third largest number. 2 is never going to be included in this group. 2 is never going to be in our min heap of size k. If we added a small element to our stream, like a 1, well, we don't care about a 1. Now, in terms of the code and how we're going to implement this, we're going to have a min heap of size k. First of all, what we're going to do to get this heap is we're going to take this entire input and add it to the min heap, right? So suppose we have 4, 5, and 8 in our min heap. Now we're going to do a while loop. While the size of the heap is greater than k, we're going to pop the minimum value. In this case, the minimum is 2. We're going to pop it. Thankfully, now our heap is size k exactly, so we don't need to continue to pop elements. And remember, our min heap, we can get the minimum value. And since we have, these are the 3 largest values, we want the third largest, which is going to be the minimum among all of these. I hope now you can see why we're using a min heap, because we can get the minimum in O of 1 time. But the add function over here requires us to add a value to our stream of data. So for example, suppose we want to run add 3. Well, how do we know if 3 is included among our k largest values? Well, the easiest way to do it, there's multiple ways, but the easiest is just to take that 3 and add it to our min heap. So now we have 4 values in our min heap, and we added it in log n time. Now we want to pop the minimum value from this min heap, because we want the third largest value. We have 4 values in the heap. Let's pop the smallest one, which is 3. We can do that again in log n time. And now we want to know, okay, among the remaining, what's the smallest value? Again, it's 4. So as you can see, we can do the add function in log n time. How many times are we going to run the add function? Who knows? Let's call it m, and then this is going to be the overall time complexity of add if we count all the function calls that are made to it. Now, in terms of our constructor function actually generating this entire heap, it's potentially going to be n log n in the worst case. Reason being is we can actually initialize the heap. Like, this is our input data. We can turn it into a heap in O of n time. That's not too bad. But then remember, when we started with the array, we had this 2, right? We have to keep popping elements until we only have k elements remaining. So a pop function is going to be log n time. How many times are we going to have to pop? Potentially n minus k times. So this is the overall time complexity. K could be really small. It could be 1. So, worst case, we could have n log n for our constructor. But the add function is just going to be log n. That's a big improvement over the first solution we came up with, which was n time, when we were just using a array structure. So heaps definitely help us out a lot. Now we can go ahead and code this up. Now let's code it up. First thing we're going to do is the constructor. You can see how I have one comment that hopefully will help guide us in the code. So we can create a member variable with the self keyword in Python. So first we want to create our min heap, and we also want to have another member variable for k, which is going to be the size of that heap, or at least the desired size of it. So min heap initially can just be assigned to nums, and our k is just going to be assigned to the input parameter k. We want to turn this into a heap. Right now it's just a array. We can turn it into a heap in Python like this, heapq.heapify, heapifying this array into a min heap. That will create the sorted property. It will run in big O of n time, but it could be that it has more than k elements. So while the length of self.minheap is greater than k, we can go ahead and pop from the min heap. We can do that with heapq.heapPop on the min heap data structure. And don't forget the keyword self, since it's a member variable. So the constructor isn't too bad. Now let's do our add function. there's multiple ways you could write it, but the easiest way is just to go ahead and add this value to our min heap regardless of what it is. If it's too big or if it's too small, who cares? We can go ahead and say heap q dot heap pop or heap push to our min heap this value, and then we're gonna pop the smallest value, which might end up being this value, or it might end up being a different value. Who knows? Let's go ahead and just pop it, and our heap data structure will actually take care of that for us anyway. But there's actually just one edge case that you might miss. Remember, our heap might be initialized with less than k elements. This loop will execute if it has more than k elements, which is good, but what if it has less than k elements? Then, if we add a value to the heap, we don't want to pop from the heap if it has less than k elements, or even equal to k elements. We only want to pop if the length of the min heap is greater than k elements. So if it's greater than k, that's when we want to pop from the min heap. But once we've done that, we make sure our heap is valid. It does have k elements. We're guaranteed that when the add function runs. So now we just want to return the minimum from our min heap. And the way heaps are implemented, the minimum value will always be stored in the 0th index. So we can just go ahead and return this. And don't be dumb like me. We forgot to, when we're referencing min heap and the k value, we want to make sure we reference it as a member variable. So let's use the keyword self.minheap. Okay, it looks good to me. Let's run it to make sure that it works. And as you can see on the left, yes, it does work, and it's about as efficient as we can get. So I really hope that this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe. It really supports the channel a lot. Consider checking out my Patreon where you can further support the channel, and hopefully I'll see you pretty soon. Thanks for watching.